Mr. Chairman, the fentanyl crisis, as you know, is one of the largest threats to our country and continues to plague so many of our families and neighbors across the United States. Drug overdoses are the leading cause of death for Americans age 18 to 45, and fentanyl is responsible for nearly 70% of these deaths. Deaths involving synthetic opioids continued to rise in 2022 with 73,838 overdose deaths. Each one of these is a terrible tragedy. From September 2023 to August 2024, 57,997 Americans died of an opioid overdose. In 2023, 1,984 Kentuckians lost their lives to a drug overdose. Sadly, I've met with many of my constituents who have lost loved ones to this epidemic. Unfortunately, this scourge has spread with the help, the malign help of our greatest strategic threat, the People's Republic of China and the Chinese Communist Party. In just the past 2 years, the Office of Foreign Asset Control, or OFAC, at Treasury sanctioned more than 300 targets for drug trafficking. We know that China has historically been and remains the primary source of fentanyl in global circulation through the production of precursor chemicals and outsourcing final production to cartel laboratories, mainly in Mexico, and then exploitation of our open southern border for over the last 4 years. That's why it's paramount to not only secure our southern border, but that this committee pass my legislation being considered here today, H.R. 747, the Stop Chinese Fentanyl Act, which passed the House on suspension last Congress. My bill amends the Fentanyl Sanctions Act to expand the definition of, quote, foreign opioid trafficker, unquote, to include certain Chinese entities and government officials who fail to take steps to prevent opioid trafficking, subjecting them to sanctions. This bill requires the President to determine whether the heads of the Chinese National Narcotics Control Commission, the Ministry of Public Security, the General Administration of Customs, and the National Medical Products Administration of the Government of the People's Republic of China are foreign opioid traffickers, and we suspect many are. We must attack the production of fentanyl by targeting the source of precursors in China. Make no mistake, Chinese producers of synthetic opioids and opioid precursors and senior government and Chinese political officials' culpability does not end when their precursor products land in Mexico or illegally cross our southern border. We must look at every step of fentanyl's deadly supply chain and hold our adversaries accountable. This is a real, urgent, and massive national security crisis. The threat from China is multifaceted, but there are entities and persons in China who are literally complicit in poisoning and killing Americans. This bill targets the sources of the fentanyl surge, and I encourage my colleagues to support this legislation once again in a bipartisan way, and I yield back.